All right. Welcome everyone. Dorsey's Resource. The topic of this video is going to be open forum discussion Q&A, question and answer. First, before we get started, as I normally do, this video is for educational, informational purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In any event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged that you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource channel is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. These are simply my opinions on the topic matter being discussed. All rights are reserved. Now, let's get started. Once again, I'm back. This is open forum Q&A. It's been a while since I've done this. Had different things on my mind. It's also like a freestyle discussion, so you guys, the few who are in, are welcome to chime in and ask questions. Just wanted to kind of go over some things myself and maybe some recommendations about some other web hosting platforms that I recommend other than YouTube. Something I wanted to interject, but I needed to find my notes. One of the things I suggest with a lot of the censorship that's been taking place, on both sides, actually, I've heard concern, by the way. See, someone jumped in the chat, Terry McLaughlin says, how have you been? Oh, have you got the website yet to the email? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I believe I did see your message, Terry. I'll have to check. By the way, it's been a minute since I've actually checked my @Dorsey's Resource 2017 Gmail. That's the main email that I use for this channel. But I sent you a message on Twitter, so hopefully I put both emails in there, and I also have one at Yahoo as well. So I thought I did see something from Yahoo that said you and I or something like that. I wasn't really sure. I don't know if that's what you were working on. So you can just I'll have to check it, but it stated in there, by the way, that I didn't meet some credentials, so I wasn't sure in terms if it had to be like for a business account, because the way I do this channel, I haven't officially incorporated it yet. It's unofficial. However, by me using the name being First Dorsey's Resource, putting it in the public like this, it is unofficially in a way copywritten in this part of my last name, but I haven't officially trademarked Dorsey's Resource yet, by the way, just FYI. So to get back into the topic, there are some documentaries that I wanted to recommend. I'm gonna recognize you all jumping in the chat. Mary says hi. Greetings to you, Mary. Thank you for joining. Fabulous Girl XRP says hello @Dorsey. Greetings, welcome. Fabulous Girl XRP, is that Ripple, by the way, into the cryptocurrencies. Mary says, I have been looking up some of the words you gave me. Thanks. You're welcome. That's something else I could go over as well. So I wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. Down the road, I was thinking about starting a Patreon account to go maybe more in depth for those who are serious, who want more information in terms of some of the things I have not gone as in depth about. Plus, there's a lot of trolls out there, and gatekeepers as well, that I'm careful how I share some of the information with you guys. But I want to assure you, I've done my research. Like the last video I did on the definitions, the terminology was very important. There was even a video prior to that, by the way. So I want to delve into some things, some notes that I previously had dealing with the censorship. Is I recommend get on other web hosting platforms. Start signing up already. There's already a lot of content creators, just to let you guys know, who've already left YouTube or who were actually kicked off, that are already on other web hosting platforms. And there's a list I want to go over. I might have to go off the top of the head. Okay, I did find my notes right here. Some I recommend. These are alternate social media platforms. I even hear, allegedly, I I don't know. Hopefully this will manifest that there's going to be another version of YouTube coming out down the road. That would be awesome. That will not have all of the censorship like what YouTube does, because they've been actually violating. YouTube is just owned by Google, and their parent company Alphabet has been violating antitrust laws. I hear they're in the midst of a lawsuit. They're in like several lawsuits with some large content creators out there that had been ongoing. And there are some people, I had did a video in the past about a certain individual being censored, by the way. And there was some people that were defending YouTube and Google. Then the censorship actually started happening with the opposite side. Just like this individual, I still listen to him from time to time. And I heard him say this on his show. So if he was lying, I'm able to see he's not making this up, because I saw liberals even being censored and kicked off Facebook. Even parts that are like right in the middle or swing more liberal or whatever, they were kicked off all of a sudden off Facebook and other things. So this censorship is important. This can affect everyone, by the way. So I just want to give you guys, even though this is open forum Q&A, you're welcome to ask questions. I'll try to get to them, but I wanted to give you guys alternate social media platforms, web hosting platforms to get on as well. Please check out Real.video, which is now Brighteon.com. Brighteon.com. Check out Minds.com. Please check out Minds.com. And because I have a diverse audience, just to let you guys know, for this YouTube channel, I touch on many different topics to show my versatility. For my black subscribers or those out there, just to let you guys know, there's black social media sites that cater to just black people or that are into the like more so Afrocentric things. So just to be fair and show versatility, I just wanted to share these web hosting platforms for my black subscribers as well, just to let you guys know I have a very diverse audience. So for my black subscribers, you have a web hosting platform called Blackspot, but it's spelled BLAQ SPOT, Blackspot.com. You want to look that up. And Blag Enough, you want to check out Blag Enough. That's with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I just noticed his site looks to be pretty good. I haven't signed up with them yet, but down the road. I am on Minds.com, which I mentioned earlier. Get on Gab.ai. And what this does, when you get on these other web hosting platforms, to be fair, it does not allow YouTube to have this monopoly and other big web hosting platforms such as the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Snapchats, the Instagrams, and the many others. So what they're trying to do, similar to like the mainstream media, they're trying to brainwash people and see, you want to study multiple people to get a fair, balanced perspective, a plethora of information. So I even tell you guys, don't take my word for what I'm saying. Please look up what I'm saying and you guys will see the confirmation. And this shows I'm being fair, because I'm not just pushing any one particular site. I'm not getting paid. All of these social media platforms I mentioned, none of them approached me or said, hey, Dorsey, can you push my stuff? I'm just sharing them from my own research. This is what I saw. And this is also empowering you guys, my subscribers. Because remember, you all have all the power. I'm just simply a messenger. I'm just sharing my experience, my research, my investigation with you guys. That's empowering, hopefully action-packed. So I went over alternate social media platforms to reiterate. Real.video is now Brighteon.com, Minds.com. I've already signed up for Minds. Gab.ai. You have BitChute.com. BitChute. Spelled BITCHUTE, BitChute. You have DTube. Please check out DTube. And I went over Blackspot for my black subscribers, melanated. Blackspot is spelled BLAQSPOT. And then you have something called Blag Enough. It's like for the melanated content creators out there as well, to show versatility and fairness. So get off YouTube. Since YouTube wants to bully and claim to be against the bullying by demonetizing people's channels and with all this censorship, I highly recommend, please spread this message to your loved ones. Everyone, get on other social media platforms. So at YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they can't just have this big monopoly. And to prove they're in violation of antitrust laws, I found out that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, as well as many others, they registered as public utilities. And what that means, to break it down, is just like no different than utility companies that provide your water, like your sewage bill, your electricity. They cannot discriminate against their consumers at all. You get it? Like, so because YouTube is operating in the public, so all of a sudden, since now they've gotten big, because remember, the U was about the YouTube. The tube represented like the screen, the television, the imagery, whatever devices you were using. Notice YouTube, it was about you. But since it got big money came in, the content creators who built up YouTube to where it was at, all of a sudden YouTube started wanting to like try to privatize in a way and enforce all of this very highly strict censorship, where they wanted to micromanage what they feel is hate speech, what isn't, and they are practicing very discriminatory practices by not being fair to all of their content creators and subscribers, where they're pointing a finger at one, but they're allowing others to get away with certain things. You see, it doesn't work that way. What you do for one, you must do for the other. That's discrimination. That's discriminatory practices when they still allow violence and curse words and swearing and things in depth from a lot of other people, but because they fit a particular narrative, and that YouTube finds it maybe offensive to some people that they don't like, but they're in the public. They registered as a public utility. Now I can understand, you know, certain things that aren't extreme, like in terms of that T word. I'm not going to say, you guys know, stuff like that. But it's in terms of where they're picking and choosing which speech they want to allow, what speech that they don't, and they're singling out certain people, like the certain individual that got banned last year. And I did a previous video in the past on them, several, that particular radio talk show host. I'm not saying the name, but many of you guys know who I'm referring to. And I've seen channels that use way more profanity than his channel, violence, and this includes music videos, movies and stuff, and as far as even nudity and things of that nature from other content creators and other things that YouTube was still allowing. So this is simply biased. This is very biased. This is not fair. This is a violation of antitrust laws. This is torturous interference, where you had different groups from other social media platforms that YouTube is allowing to be on here, where they were lobbying to have this individual as well as others shut down. That's called torturous interference. That is illegal, where one major media group is lobbying to have another media group shut down. That's illegal, by the way. Don't let YouTube, Google, they're using bullying tactics, because they're using their muscle. They have a lot of money to hire lawyers and stuff. But fortunately, I recommend, if for those content creators out there who've already been censored, those of you all who are rich or have money already, I recommend definitely sue YouTube if you have the money. File class action lawsuits against Google. Report this matter, because this is very serious. This is you know, in other countries they do things where they arrest people, disappear people. This is why this is a serious matter. And just because it may be happening mostly with conservatives, it can happen with liberals, and it already has started on Facebook, where they just wiped out a whole lot of different channels by people. I even hear from different private Facebook groups that don't fit their narrative or whatever. They've removed the share button, but they still allow you to share content from the so-called mainstream media, such as CNN or WXYZ. That's under Scripps Howard, that is similar, which is all under Disney and other major media super conglomerates around the country that have a monopoly, which this is a violation of antitrust laws, by the way. And I'm just kind of going over the reason I'm going over so you guys would understand. YouTube, which is owned by Google, their parent company Alphabet, which they're controlled under, they originally registered as a public utility, meaning, once again, they cannot discriminate against consumers. Just like when you receive a water bill, electric bill, those public utilities have rules, practices that they have to abide by. And that's what these social media platforms, Facebook as well, Twitter, they registered as. So they broke violation antitrust laws, because there's people out there that tried to say in my previous video that was inaccurate. No, that is I'm giving you the meat and potatoes. Is solidified. They broke the law flat out. But just kind of going a little bit more in depth on what they've done. And if something is not done about this, this can get worse. Like in China, you know, where they have the social credit score. And did you know in China, they are penalizing people who play video games too much, and also people who smoke cigarettes. I hear even on subways, so they get banned from taking airplane, from using public transportation. These are major discriminatory practices, and those things can even come over here to America. It's already, some stuff is already happening overseas, like in Australia, where they're seeing certain social media posts where I hear the police are knocking on people's door. That's extreme. Like thought police saying we need to change your thought process or how you think. You know, don't you think that's very extreme, by the way? You know, so these are high discriminatory practices. So I want to give you guys empowering information. Get off YouTube, please, and get on other social media platforms just as a backup in advance, because this can get worse. And if you have the money, if you're a millionaire, you're a billionaire, I recommend use that muscle of your money and sue the crap out of YouTube for these discriminatory, as well as Facebook and others, for these discriminatory practices and violation of antitrust laws. And I went over what I went over as facts. I'm going to go over one more time the social media sites I mentioned. Was real.video, which is now Brighteon.com, Minds.com, Gab.ai, BitChute, and DTube as well. Blackspot for our black subscribers, content creators, for melanated, spelled BLAQSPOT, Blackspot. And then you have Blag Enough. Blag Enough, that's Dr. Boyce Watkins for melanated black, my sharing this for my black subscribers out there to show versatility and fairness. Also, Twitch is like a gaming platform, because YouTube did start censoring certain video game content creators that got caught up in this mess. So Twitch, I think here does a good job in terms of that. But just so you have multiple options, so YouTube and others won't be able to have this big, you know, monopoly to just be able to curtail speech that doesn't fit their narrative. By the way, now, with that being said, since this is open forum Q&A, once again, you guys are welcome to chime in and ask questions if you have any questions for me. This is about any previous videos that I've done. I'll do my level best to try to answer those questions. Now I want to go over some documentaries that I recommend. I may have to shoot off the top of the head. I do have some notes here with me, but some documentaries that I recommend, and also some mainstream movies that came out. Please check out. You can watch for free on YouTube some of these documentaries. Money Masters, please check that out. Monopoly Men, I've mentioned some of these documentaries in previous videos. Money Masters, Monopoly Men. If you're into the GCR, Global Currency Reset, please check out Changes on the Horizon. You can watch for free on YouTube. It's called, once again, Changes on the Horizon. There's like a part 1 through 3. Someone, I think, uploaded a version that's uncut, but you might find one version that's broke up in 3 parts or 3 segments called Changes on the Horizon. Please check out, this came out at certain mainstream theaters across the country. It's a mainstream movie called Kill the Messenger. And you can look these movies up too and try to download if you can, document them. Kill the Messenger years ago, that was based off of a reporter who used to work for the San Jose Mercury News named Gary Webb. He was a pioneer that exposed years ago how the deep state, the bad cabal, people, criminal elements within the government during the 80s was involved in drug trafficking, the Reagan-Bush administration. And he was on the Montel Williams show as well as other talk show shows years ago to try to expose this. And this movie, Kill the Messenger, that came out, it had the actor that played in the show Wire starred in this movie, and it was released at certain theaters. So it did come out mainstream, like it was only at certain theaters, I guess, across the country. Also check out this documentary / movie called The Internet's Own Boy. The same story with this. This was released at certain theaters. It's based off of Aaron Swartz. He was a pioneer with a lot of things. Please research who he was. I'm giving you a plethora of action-packed information that'll help wake you up and provide solidified evidence. Please check out, just don't take my word for what I'm saying, but please research it and investigate it, and it will help you connect the pieces to form a puzzle and vividly see the evidence of what I'm going over. Check out this documentary called Scientists Are Under Attack. Please check out Scientists Are Under Attack. That I'm not sure. I actually ordered that some years ago, but very good documentary, shows evidence behind how they're poisoning our food supply. Certain company, I won't say the name, our agricultural supply, and this is going on worldwide across the globe. But there are scientists, activists that are scientists, engineers that are trying to fight this. This is real. Check this out. It's called Scientists Are Under Attack. You can look it up, and I would highly recommend to purchase it. Also, check out this documentary. You can still find it on YouTube. I looked it up recently to see if uploads were still on, and it was still on there. It's a little old, but you can check between certain videos which one's the clearest. But it's called Conspiracy of Silence. Please check out this documentary called Conspiracy of Silence. I highly recommend this documentary if you're concerned where some of this stuff came from. Like, remember when it broke out a year or two ago, those missing girls in DC. It was mostly black girls, and then it included some, I believe, Hispanic girls that were missing. They call it the missing girls. Remember, that was big with certain content creators had reported on that on YouTube. But check out this documentary called Conspiracy of Silence. This ties in with that, the missing children and stuff. Very important, called Conspiracy of Silence. And there's an individual who played, who was in that documentary, who was featured. I believe he may have passed away. Rest in peace to him. His name was John D. Camp. He had a book. There's 2 books I'm going to recommend. Check out. You can find on Amazon.com. But if you don't, some people are into the boycotts, the protests, I understand. So I'm not pumping necessarily any particular website or anything, but just giving you guys empowering, action-packed information you can look up. But John D. Camp, he had a book, and just giving you guys an idea, you can look up on Amazon is one of them, but you can also do a Yahoo or Google search engine, whatever search engine to your liking. There was a book he wrote. It was called, let me see, The Franklin Cover-Up, or either The Franklin Conspiracy. But there was another book written by an investigative journalist called Nick Bryan. So you want to check these books out if you can. That will provide evidence behind that documentary, Conspiracy of Silence. But please check out John D. Camp's book. It's either called The Franklin Cover-Up was one of the books, and then there was another book. But if you type it in on Amazon, they both are related, so they'll come up together. And then there was another book by an investigative journalist who researched this, named Nick Bryan, and this is highly accurate information. Important names to look up on YouTube. This is how I do research, because you want to research a plethora of information to show solidified evidence, by the way, because there are those gatekeepers and people out there that try to say that this is conspiracy theory or made up. No, this is a conspiracy fact. There's a such thing as conspiracy facts, and there's things that have already happened that's been proven, and then there's reality, like how I'm speaking in real time right now, this exact moment. This is reality. So everything is not theory, which is theoretical. People don't break the words down. They like to play the semantics game to try to deflect, because they want to keep you dumbed down and brainwashed. They don't want you waking up, especially some of these disinfo agents and gatekeepers out here. So I'm giving you guys highly action-packed information. Please share this video, and let's get the thumbs up out there to let the haters know this information is bulletproof and it's highly accurate. Highly accurate. Very powerful stuff I'm sharing with you guys that I've already researched and looked at in depth. And I've saw a lot of these documentaries, but there's many of you all who are still new, who are still just subscribing to this channel. And please share this with your loved ones, your aunties, your grandmothers, your nieces, your brothers, your sisters, your family members as well. By the way, so I went over Conspiracy of Silence, some of the names. Please look up Noreen Gosh. She was behind the modern day Amber Alert system. She her activism, because by her son being kidnapped, I won't spoil it for you guys, led to her lobbying for the what's known today as a modern day Amber Alert. Look, you can look it up. I found out what she did help legislation get passed behind the Amber Alert system. Please look up Noreen Gosh and look up her son Johnny Gosh, the story behind Johnny Gosh. Please check that out. And it was featured on the Nancy Grace show years ago, on Nancy Grace's show, and also on America's Most Wanted. Please check these, all of these documentaries and books and names that I'm giving you guys. It's going to formulate a picture. It's going to let you know who the deep state was at the time, who's telling the truth in modern day society, and how some of these people are still around. You know, they haven't left, by the way. And it's going to give solidified evidence. That's why I'm doing this video the way that I'm doing it, to allow you guys to connect the pieces, by the way. Also, please check out Ted Gunderson. Please check out Ted Gunderson. He was a former FBI agent. He's retired when he came out at the time. This is many years ago. He's passed away. Rest in peace to him. Please check out as many of his videos as you can on YouTube. He was a pioneer. Please check out Ted Gunderson. Also check out, I got my notes here with me, Cathy O'Brien. Please check out Cathy O'Brien. Look her videos up as well. Please check out Cathy O'Brien. There was another lady too. I'm trying to think of her name. I can't think of it offhand. It might come back to me, but she met Cathy O'Brien as well. Oh yeah, Bryce Taylor. Please check out Bryce Taylor. Look that name up. Bryce Taylor and Ted Gunderson. But when you look up some of these people, these names I'm giving you, it'll lead you to some of these other documentaries and names to provide evidence behind who the deep state was. This is facts. This is not conspiracy theory. This is something that happened years ago. And the case that was ruled on, the guy who was connected to that documentary I went over, and those books from that people I mentioned, there was a guy who was a pioneer in that case, and his name was John Bonacci, or John, some people pronounce it John Bonacci. He won his lawsuit, by the way. Look up his name, John Bonacci. Some people pronounce it John Bonacci. Forgive me if he's still out there if I'm mispronouncing the name correctly, but I believe it's John Bonacci. He won his case based on the information. That's why I said what I went over is factual. It cannot be denied. I don't care. Certain gatekeepers out there can huff and puff all they want to, but this is facts. Straight up facts I'm giving here. Because I got some trolls out there, a gatekeeper that's trolling me, but I'm going over factual information that's happened, by the way. So this is open forum, just to let you guys know, the few that are still here, still joining me, I want to thank you for joining me. You're welcome to Dorsey's Resource right now. I'm going over, this is open forum Q&A session. I went over some things dealing with some web hosting platforms because of the censorship. I went over some documentaries, names of people, and some books that I highly recommend, by the way. So we're already almost 30 minutes in, so letting you guys know, feel free to chime in if you get a chance. Still got a little bit of time left before I get up out of here because I am on a time limit. So just want to let you guys know. Let me see here if we got some more info. Oh, here's some more documentaries. One called Ring of Power, Empire of the City. I believe this is still on YouTube. You can watch it for free. It's been documented. It's called Ring of Power, Empire of the City. Please check out Ring of Power, Empire of the City. This documentary is called Ma'afa 21. Please check out Ma'afa 21. Real interesting stuff when you document. I saw it some years ago, by the way, and it exposes some things too. There's a book I'm going to go over. Please check out David Icke's book called Children of the Matrix. This is going to back up some of the stuff I went over earlier, some of the documentaries. Please check out David Icke's book called Children of the Matrix. It's called Children of the Matrix. That one in particular. I have that in my library. I have some other ones as well. Okay, so got those. As you guys see, I got my notes right here. I'm going over for you all. Okay. So the reason I'm going over this information too, when I brought up the gatekeepers, some of the gatekeepers out here, they are attempting to sabotage your success. They also use gatekeepers to threaten content creators from sharing redemption education. And this is also an attempt to brainwash people. The reason I went over that high-powered information, because they want to, the thing is, they want to steer you away from this type of research and this type of information. And that even involves learning the laws, like those definitions that I went over. That's why I went over those definitions, to show the story behind the legal system. That's facts, the history and everything. And this is done by the ruling class elite. They hire some of these gatekeepers even as shields to do these things because they want to brainwash people. So they'll also use gatekeepers to troll people as well. But remember, they can't stop everybody. You know, that's why I recommend get on other web hosting platforms, get on other social media platforms, start creating passwords and usernames as a backup. You know, and this right here is going to keep those of us who are awakened group in power, and it's going to help us prove what the truth is. Because see, they want to use the mainstream media as well as other groups that are like on a lower end that they pump a lot of money into. They use fractional reserve banking through the Federal Reserve, where they can pull money out of thin air, where they can loan. Fractional reserve banking is where, say, if you have your money that's deposited in an institution, where they can loan up to 90% of your own money currency. That's part of what is that called? Money. It's like modern money mechanics. That's what it's called. Took me a while to think of it because I was thinking about that documentary Money Masters, but I went over there earlier. I highly recommend checking that out. Money Masters and Monopoly Men. But there's a banking practice part of the Federal Reserve, those who go through accounting, finance, or advanced levels of banking, learning about the private sector. There's a book called Modern Money Mechanics, and that will prove to you what I just went over about fractional reserve banking, where they can loan up to 90% of your own currency, where they pull money, currency. It's really currency out of thin air, because legally it's not money, it's a Federal Reserve note. That's where some people think they get confused and they try to say, the conspiracy theorists say it's no money. No, what we're saying is that legally, we're talking about legally, like if you go to court and contracts, this is a Federal Reserve note. You see, Federal Reserve note. It says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. This proves there's a private side. What do they mean by public and private? Because there's a certain individual out there, gatekeeper, will tell you there's no private sector. Something to think about. Will tell you there's no private, but it says right on the currency, legal tender for all debts, public and private. Mighty funny, huh? And it says the same thing even on a $5 bill. It says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. This is actually fiat, by the way, fiat currency, but it'll tell you still at the top, legally, this is a Federal Reserve note. That's what we're referring to. See, that people don't know they've been indoctrinated to operate from the public side sector, and they haven't been taught about the private sector. This is why I need to start working on a Patreon account where I can go more in depth for those of y'all who are serious, and it'll help, you know, cut down on the gatekeepers out there that try to spread disinformation for those who are serious. And it will allow me to go more in depth and share things with you guys and show solidified evidence. And I'm still working on screen capture video. I was busy earlier today where, you know, I can do a video from my desktop and show websites of certain documents, which I've done in the past, by the way, to show accurate information. I like to go over those definitions where I'll do another video, but do a screen capture to where I'll go over the terminology, the glossary, some of the stuff. I can scan it to my printer and I can upload it, and it'll provide evidence behind what I'm going over. And it will debunk everything this one particular gatekeeper, a lot of the lies that she spews and puts out. I've already debunked a lot of that when I did my previous video, when I went over the terminology, the definitions. And look up Title 28, Section 3002 of the United States Codes. It says online, you look it up on Google or Yahoo, it says the United States is a federal corporation unequivocally. It even used the term unequivocally. It stated the United States is a federal corporation according to this law. Look up Title 28 of the United States Codes, Section 3002, subsection 15, and then look at the subsections after that. Because this particular gatekeeper swore up and down that it's a conspiracy theory that there's individuals telling the United States is not a corporation. But I just gave you the law and the definition. Look up multiple definitions. You know, and I highly recommend getting a Black's Law legal dictionary. Older versions, 4th edition, 6th edition, 5th edition. I highly recommend that. Only difference with the updated editions, they put newer words in there. Some of them are rehashed or different variations. But what I went over in the previous video, however, shows solidified evidence, and I used some of the redemption manuals that I've done previous video book reviews on. I used the glossary in the back of a couple of those to show even more evidence to debunk what this so-called gatekeeper out there is telling you, to prove to you the lies that they're putting out. And I'm giving you factual evidence, and this particular gatekeeper is constantly hiding behind a fake shield name, like a pseudonym name. It's not really a pseudonym, because the pseudonym is like if you use a name that looks like a legal person name that's not your own, but they're using a name and they're not showing their real face, who they are, and they claim to be accurate. So I got that coming for you guys down the road, but I also want to let you guys know ahead of time. It may take me some time, because as you guys can see, I'm on a graveyard shift. I do have a busy schedule. I've been dealing with some other things on top of that. You know, I have a life just like everyone else. But however, I'm going to focus in on taking some time to get back in the laboratory. I still do study. Just to let you guys know, I do work on notes to give you all, because I want to make sure my stuff is accurate. I do give a disclaimer, so I recommend that don't take my word for what I'm saying, but please look it up, research it, investigate it. What I'm saying, I'm so confident in what I say. That's why I encourage you to please investigate and research. So that's my time. I don't want to hold you guys up anymore, but I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm at Dorsey's Resource. You can follow me on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource, on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource, and of course YouTube, obviously, at Dorsey's Resource. I'm also on Minds.com and Gab.ai. I do have an Instagram account, Dorsey's Resource _2019, something like that. I'm not really on there as much, so I want to thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, shoot me a thumbs up, and thank you all for joining me. I'm your host, John Dorsey. Until next time, deuces.